we go. And we're going. So thank you for doing this on short notice.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the invite.
I think I texted you this morning.
Yeah.
So
Hey, we've got a transfer coming in. And it kind of got spurred from there. So
yeah, exactly.
very short notice, but it's all good.
Yeah. So you listen to the podcast, then you know how I do it. Just an open conversation. But you know, anytime I see a small business going through hard times because of government overreach, I think that's a good story to tell. Not only because people need to know that like all these rules and regulations and laws that get passed, they don't understand how they impact small business, how they impact their community. And that's why I like people to tell their stories. And then very often people hear these stories. The right person might hear something that's went through this before or have some feedback for you. You just know how the network comes together and people help each other. So that's what I'm kind of hoping happens as a fallout from this. Like, I'm sure you heard the episode with Spoon and Straw, which is a business right up the street from you guys.
Yep. We talk.
And she's had, bro, that fucking episode has been life-changing for her. She has people reaching out to her, trying to franchise and all kinds of stuff. So it's pretty cool, man.
I'm pretty sure that was actually how I found out about it, was from that episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's now your favorite place? And
Yeah.
Dude, I love that place.
Yeah, it is very good. If you get a chance to stop in, definitely do so.
So yeah, just, I mean, introduce yourself, tell what you're about, where you came from, and then we'll just go into the story of Pacific Armament and just have fun with it, man.
All right. I am Josh Dreyfous, the owner of Pacific Armament Company. We started out of my garage 2016 while I was still on active duty. Didn't ever intend to do anything with the retail side of things. It was all supposed to be custom gun work. 1911s was my forte as far as that was concerned. So I was chasing that rabbit down the hole. Still needed an FFL and everything. So we got the business rolling in 2016 and then just started doing sales, and people found out the big box store places sucked, and they kept coming in, and business grew from there. And the retail side blew up way more than anything I could ever do on the smithing side. So
yeah,
just went hard in with the retail end of things and the sales and the paperwork and everything that transpired in along with that. Chased a lot of bad law down the hole when, during that time period. 594 or 1639 with the magazine, or not magazine ban, but the private transfers and the assault rifle ban, or not the assault rifle ban, but the 10-day waiting period.
Yeah.
It just, that was passed.
Was 1639 also the one that required like an educational course?
Yeah.
To pick up your rifle?
That's the
God, man.
Hats off to Sports Systems down in Vancouver for doing the.
Yeah, they made that little online one that you can knock out in about 25 seconds.
It was ridiculous how many people we'd be like, oh yeah, I just paid $300 for this course, and we were like,
You know what's crazy too? It's like, I mean, we can bitch about flaws in the government for the next 6 hours, but they want to take people like you and I who have vast experience in firearms and tell us what we need to do before we go purchase a firearm. And all the goons that are legislating these laws, they don't know anything about firearms. Like, do you remember, I forget, I don't even know if this was in Washington or if this was on a national level, but they were talking about banning magazines. And they're like, the thing is, if we ban 30-round magazines and only allow 10, it'll only be a matter of time before all the 30-round magazines get shot up, and then they won't be circulating anymore. Yeah. And I'm like,
I do remember that one.
These are the people that are legislating laws that you and I are expected to abide by. Their head's so far up their ass, they don't know what they're doing. And we're just supposed to accept this as acceptable. It's crazy, man.
The fact that there are not very many people as pissed off about this stuff as a few of us are. We're just going to continue to allow it to happen. It's the worst part about it, and this is the fallout from it. It was one fence port at a time. 594, 1639.
Break those down for listeners and just kind of give an overview of what those are.
Yeah, I'm going to butcher this. So
okay. I butcher shit on the show all the time, man.
So 594 was a private transfer deal. So that one made it so that like the gun shows and stuff where you'd used to just be able to handshake in a parking lot and was selling a gun to a buddy or anything, that closed the gun show loophole, quote unquote, to say as far as that stuff was concerned with the actual gun shows or any private transfer in the state of Washington.
Yeah, like I can't sell a family member a 22 rifle, right? Without going through an FFL?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you just couldn't handshake it anymore. 1639 was the requirement for the certification on assault rifles, and that also did away, another one aside from that took away the ability for your concealed weapons permit to be able to use for a cash and carry on a firearm or handgun, excuse me.
I'm not tracking.
So you used to be able to go in with your concealed weapons permit. Everything would be run through NICS, the federal background portion.
And then you could walk with your pistol. Correct. That's correct.
So,
okay.
But that was, I forget what the number was on that one. It was either like 1739 or something. It was snuck by. Everyone thought it was 1639 that was the reason for it, but it was a whole entirely other bill.
And I mean, I'm assuming there's probably no data or statistics that support this kind of stuff, right? Like how many concealed carrying permit holders went and bought a new gun that day and then committed a crime with it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they're suggesting. Like if you have your permit, if the state of Washington has already looked into your background and did your fucking fingerprints and issued you a card, the state of Washington is more or less saying, we trust you to carry a firearm, but you can't buy one without a 10-day wait period. It's a cool off period in case you're buying something in a spur of the moment out of someone pisses you off and you want to go get vengeance on them,
right.
And it's like fuck you, man. Yep. It's all bullshit,
And where that really reared its ugly head was during COVID. So what I understand as far as the rules and regulations where the state was concerned was that basically a catch and release program of some pretty heinous acts that people had been arrested for being turned out within 72 hours because of COVID.
Uh-huh.
So you had these guys that were being hooked up for DVs and whatnot being turned out in a third of the time as it takes to wait for a handgun to clear when that victim comes to us for a firearm.
Yeah. Well, they can never apply common sense and be like, hey, maybe it's because of us not detaining dangerous people. No, that couldn't possibly be it, Dude, it blows my mind how it's always the gun's fault, And like the weird thing about it is all these people that just believe what the media says and believe what politicians say. They eat this shit up hook, line, and sinker, and none of the data supports any of the stuff that they're doing.
No, it's completely contradictory.
If you look at, I've talked about it on the show before, but if you look at FBI crime statistics, the amount of people that are killed with rifles, it's almost negligible. Yeah. More people get killed with bricks and rocks than rifles, but they have this massive emphasis on weapons of war and assault weapons. And people can't just detach emotionally and wonder, I wonder why they're doing that. And all you have to do is go read the fucking Second Amendment. You know what I mean? Like the people have been granted the ability to have weapons because of tyranny. And you look at any time in history, human beings do what? Once they're in power, the power goes to their head. They start to subjugate and control people. Our founding fathers knew that because they fucking just fought a war with motherfuckers that were doing that to us. And they said, we're not going to allow ourselves to be subjected to this anymore. Yep. And now they're trying to chip away at it because they know the weapons of war are what is between us and being fucking slaves, man. And it's crazy like that people think we're nuts for saying that. Like read a fucking history book. Every fucking communist regime bans weapons. So what do you think they're going to fucking do?
Yep.
And we're the fucking the tinfoil hat dummies, Yeah.
Yeah. But and this is where it becomes a real, I don't want to use the word dichotomy, being a citizen of this country, a member of this world. And we're sitting here having conversations about how to protect ourselves from people that are looking for power or looking to control or looking for what?
Well, and bro, I again, another thing I talk about on the show often, they want to deprive us of our ability to protect ourselves. But really, they want to deprive us of the ability to protect ourselves from them. That's what it is. You know, again, you look at statistics, it's way more likely that people that live in middle and lower class neighborhoods are going to be subjected to a violent crime than a politician driving around in a motorcade, right? So the data is already out there. You can fucking go look that up, and it's not hard to find on the FBI crime statistics. Yet, if you're a plumber that lives in a fucking lower class neighborhood that's crime ridden, you can't have an AR-15 because that's a weapon of war. However, when Jay Inslee drives around Seattle, Washington, he has a motorcade of 5 vehicles with 15 AR-15s protecting him. You can't have it both ways. You can't say this weapon platform isn't good at protecting people while simultaneously being protected by 15 of them everywhere you go. And you know, there's people that think like the government should have special privileges. The government is literally us. There's not supposed to be we're not supposed to distinguish like, oh, you know, this is the government, these are the citizens. Like, the government is supposed to be a representation of the people. Never in any of our founding fathers' vision was the government supposed to have all of these special rules, and then subjugate us and say rules for thee, but not for me. And to think like, oh, these people shouldn't have this and those people shouldn't have that, but I can have everything I want. I don't give a fuck what side of the political spectrum you're on. If that kind of behavior doesn't make you raise an eyebrow and just be like, well, what is really going on here? Like, the police I was just hanging out with my buddy last week who did the podcast, David Price, who's from London. Even the police don't have guns over there, right? So if you want to deprive...
Turn in your knife bins.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming soon.
But if the government wants to deprive us of our ability to have weapons, you motherfuckers better turn yours in too. But we know that's never going to happen.
Because we know what the end game is.
And it's still funny to me when our fucking demented, idiotic president gets on television and still says things like, I haven't seen a deer wearing a Kevlar vest. And it's like, is there one person in America that hears that statement and says, hey, you know what? That's a good point. Maybe we don't need rifles. You know, it's fucking crazy, dude. Or a couple of his other good ones are shoot him in the leg, which as someone...
Shotgun Joe.
Yeah, or shoot him through the door. Remember that one?
Yeah, and God, there was a court case or someone that actually did that. Like,
oh, really?
2 months after that post or that story posted, and someone was just like, and actually used that as their defense. I hope it actually finally went to court. I don't know. You
don't know the outcome?
Oh, I didn't follow it past
Fuck,
that.
man.
I need to go find that now.
Hey, if the president's telling you to do something,
it's legally bound.
Well, you should be the words that come out of the president of the United States' mouth since I was a little boy is something that should hold validity. You know, regardless of what side of the political spectrum you're on. But now that I realize it's all a fucking shell game, it's probably always been a shell game.
And I hate to say it, but the only guy that's even in the field right now that I can even listen to politically is RFK Jr. right now.
Bro, I think everybody can listen to him. And there's...
He actually speaks English.
There's people that are throwing things at their radio saying, he's a fucking Kennedy and he's deep state and all this shit, right? Yeah. Listen to him. And I think a lot of us have a pretty good bullshit meter, right? You can just tell when people are full of shit. And long before Joe Biden became a demented fucking retard, he was a lying fucking retard. Yeah. You know,
he was dangerously.
I was top of my class. I graduated with 2 degrees. Like, he's been feeding the American people bullshit for 50 fucking years. So like when people talk about him,
we allow it to happen.
Yeah, dude. When people talk about him being, oh, it's an illness and he's demented now. While I believe that to be true, that's not a pass. I don't have any fucking sympathy for you. It's still fuck you, you know? You can't listen to RFK, and regardless if you agree with his policies or not.
Which I don't.
That's what I'm saying. You can't listen to him and not say like, hey, this guy's speaking his truth. And I think that's a big thing that we need for politicians. Yeah. Are the words that are coming out of your mouth, what you truly believe and what you truly stand behind. Because if everybody would do that, that gives us, the voters, a clear idea of, hey, this is your stance. This is where you stand on this issue. This is where you stand on that issue. And it gives us a clear idea of who we're voting for. Oh, fuck. Imagine that.
Right. Well,
right?
and the other side to that coin too is we seem to see the ones that bark the most about transparency and honesty being the most corrupt. How many smaller politicians have you ever seen that's like the ethics committee's president of so-and-so was guilty of this, and this, and, buy-offs and bribery. And now you got that deal with the GA or the Georgia DA apparently now tied in with some sort of multi-state money laundering and vote.
Oh, the one that indicted Trump?
Yeah.
Of course, dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
I don't know if there's any truth to that. I saw it in a meme.
Yeah. Hey, if you saw it on the internet, it's true.
Yeah.
But the other thing is,
Abraham Lincoln told me.
We know damn well that all these people are corrupt and that there's a bunch of bullshit going on. So it's easy to believe this kind of stuff because these aren't good people with our interests in mind. This is everything that's happening is just a political war. And the fucking crazy thing is, like you said, we're just letting it happen.
Yeah.
And how much longer are we just going to let it happen?
Well, we're just another industry that's in their way.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just a pawn. It's a piece to be moved. It's a big one.
At the expense of your entire livelihood, your entire life savings, but they don't give a fuck about that. No. They wouldn't spit on you if you were in the ditch dying of thirst, man. Nope. So when you and it was actually cool. I remember the first time I went into your old shop, it was like, where am I fucking going? Like, what is this? And then you park in a little residential area and go around the back and it's in your garage. Yeah. Did you ever catch heat for that?
Yes.
Fuck yes.
Yeah. All the time. It was always code enforcement. They're cool. Don't get me wrong. We had a plan. COVID happened. We were expanding. We got to the point because, again, 1639 had fallen in, and we had more business that we could shake at as far as the garage was concerned. People were coming in. We would be 9 to 12 or 13 people in line or in deep and out and around. And it was way too big for that neighborhood. Is that what the code enforcement issue was? Yeah. Is that parking on the street and all that kind of shit? Which at the new shop, if you've ever been at the new shop, that's laughable too, because the new shop parking was fucking worse. Yeah. So fuck, we just had an off-air parking conversation, and that seems to be. Who knew that putting someone's car somewhere would cause so much fucking issues? Well, dude, and for me, and I can't I go back and forth on this because, like I told you off air, the county is happy to work with me and make my business recognized by Snohomish County as a commercial lot. Mm-hmm. Even though it's going to be a conditional use permit, we're not changing the zoning. But with that comes all of these parking assessments and parking requirements. And they're something they said to me is for however many cars we deem that your parking structure can hold, there's a car to shrubbery ratio. So you're probably going to have to plant this many rhododendrons or something. And it's fuck, man. Every fiber in my body wants to say, get the fuck out of my face with that shit. But then the other side of it is, if I have to plant a few rhododendrons to be a recognized Snohomish County parking structure so my clients can come here and train, like I said, that's probably not the hill worth dying on. Right. But fuck, man, it's one more thing. This parking structure has been suitably parking cars for a decade without rhododendrons. Oh, you should be a subject matter expert between parking lots and getting that road out to the property. Bro, straight up. And I'll tell you, sometimes some fucking, I don't want to call them an idiot because they're probably a team member of mine, but someone every night, people will park in rows, right? They're not marked, but human beings have the ability to see and have common sense and see okay, the first row's forming. So everybody parks in the first row. And then naturally we form 5 or 6 rows, and it's been working for a decade. Every once in a while, someone will park right between the rows, and now it's a shit show, right? And you know how we deal with it? I turned the music down at the gym and I said, hey, who's driving a red Kia? Oh, that's me. Go move your fucking car, bro. What are you doing? Okay. We can solve issues. Log jam. Yeah, we don't need the government
to come out here and be like, hey, got to do this and got to do that and got to do this just to park fucking cars. And I don't think, because what they will tell you is like, well, we need everything to be marked and worked out in the event that there's an emergency, the fire trucks can get in and all this stuff, right? Well, why is it a $20,000 fee then? You're telling me it's 20 grand so you can get aid in here?
Yeah.
No, it's 20 grand because that's what you guys do. You fucking extort money from small businesses and everybody just accepts it as normal. And, I wanted so badly to be like, fuck you. And then I'm like, dude, there's bigger fish to fry. This is not the hill we're dying on. You're just getting started in fucking your entrepreneurial journey. And so what we did is we looked into it because I was like, are they just fucking with me? Bro, every business in the county has to do this prior to opening. And then like, that's what you said. Yeah, we had to do one too.
Yep.
So.
And I'll have to do it again when at least the current plan was once the little building, the little one got knocked down, we had enough parking to actually have pull-in parking. But again, assessment, 16 cars, spots, everything else as far as that stuff. And then with all the demo work and the rework and the engineering and the drainage and everything that would have to go in, yeah, it was like $100,000 just to get the contractors in there. And that wasn't even including the assessments.
Yeah, bro. It's, I honestly think
just to put cars on. I
think they have this misconception that if you are starting a small business, that you must just have a surplus of money. So let's let's nickel and dime these guys. But what these people in the government don't realize, because they've never had to, the government is not producers. They don't produce anything. They just take. They don't understand that every small business that's getting started, we have a budget. And I'm sure you're going to agree with me on this one. Every fucking project you do is over budget. Like, you're not in a surplus of money. You're almost always in a deficit.
Yeah.
With the idea that once everything gets done, eventually we're going to find ourselves in that place where we do have a surplus of money. That's the whole point of starting businesses. Like, growing wealth is cool. There's nothing to be ashamed about that. But out of the gates, nobody has that. No. And it makes it exponentially harder. Like, me having to pay 20 grand for a parking lot that already exists is just like, fuck, man. Like, how many more things have to come up? I mean, you do this a handful of times and now I'm looking at 100 grand. And you have to have all these different assessments and all these different like rules and regulations. And I say it all the time on the show. If the government was running itself in a capacity where our streets were clean, our schools were fucking spot on, our cities were safe, our infrastructure was strong, our roadways were immaculate, like all the things that we expect out of our government. And they were nickel and diming us, but it's like, well, I get nickel and dimed here, I get nickel and dimed there. But fuck, we have to remember, we live in a utopia and everything's great. That's the opposite of what they're doing.
I can't remember who said the quote, but it was something along the lines of, if you actually had to force people to literally cut a check to your city or your state or the federal government, the tax money that was collected out of your paycheck, and actually had to physically hand out a check every week, there wouldn't be a fiscal liberal left.
Yeah.
If everyone just had a little bit more wherewithal and just paid attention to where their tax money was going.
Because you never really even see it, so it just becomes normal.
Yeah.
You know?
9.4% sales tax, depending on the city. Why do they have a say more so than one to increase or decrease? And it's just, why do it at all? What are we getting out of it?
And anytime you buy or sell something, you know, I've told the story on the podcast plenty, giving a family friend who is like a son to me, giving him my old 4Runner when he went to register it. Like, well,
I heard about
this dude, you have to pay this much in sales tax. He's like, well, I didn't pay that much for it.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. This is what Blue Book says.
Yep.
So you can't even sell your own property to somebody that is your family at a price that you determine. The government gets to determine it. And
everyone gets to share the misery equally.
Yeah, dude. And the thing is, it's like, this is death by 1,000 cuts.
It is.
And sooner or later, sooner or later it's going to collapse because it's just simply not sustainable. Right. And, I mean, I don't know when that's going to be, but there's no way that the current method in which our society is operating is sustainable. Nope. It's just simply not, man. Nope. You know,
I mean, and even for us, I mean, 1240 and 5078 were signed, which pretty much blew out the industry as far as firearms was considered in the state of Washington for the time being, until we either get a preliminary injunction or Benitez and Ninth Circuit finally drops his ruling or something happens to be able to reset this, because local shops are dropping like flies.
Yeah.
I mean, there's home shops that have been around forever. There's new guys. There's us. I mean, we opened October 2nd last year, and the AWE paperwork came up like 3 weeks later. And then,
Well, dude, let's talk about that then, because Pacific Armament was being ran out of your house for a long time. And I remember those nights getting in there to pick up a weapon, and there was 10 people in line. And, but it was also kind of cool. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I like people that kind of think outside of the box and do shit in a manner that makes it work for everybody. And, but because of that, you decided, you know what? It's time to fucking expand. And you got a place right on State Street, downtown Marysville.
10 different buildings later, yeah.
And I remember I went down there with you and you showed me around and whatnot, but that was going to be a state-of-the-art facility, like classrooms, training. Weren't you going to do some simulation stuff?
All that was
like
set up.
You had your
that's a whole other separate story.
You have the what's the kiosk for the cans?
Silencer shop.
The silencer shop. Like there was no stones left unturned. And you guys put an exceptional amount of energy into this new facility. And you said that one opened in October of what year?
It was October 2nd last year in 22.
Of last year. Yep. And I know you had to fucking jump through a lot of hoops, and it seemed like it was kind of a fucking nightmare getting off the ground.
It was more so just because we signed the building August of 20 was when we actually got into that place. And then COVID happened.
Got it.
It was in full swing. So, sheets of OSB were $75. And if you know anything about the shop, the entire thing looks like a shoot house. So you got, 8,000 linear feet of OSB, 12 foot high. You can do the math from there that there was an ass ton of money put into this.
Yeah.
The copper and the wiring and getting everything done. The permits and everything is, and I will give City of Marysville credit for that. They actually, as far as the permitting stuff was concerned, were very gentle, especially given the COVID circumstances when we were doing all this crap. But, and I didn't have to deal with the county too much. State was a whole other separate story. So
yeah,
that's just in the licensing side of another extortion for Washington State's firearm dealer's license for $125 a year.
Fuck, I can only imagine, dude.
Yep.
And so was the shop ever fully up and running to the capacity that you had hoped, or
No.
You could never quite get there because of obviously COVID and then all the bullshit?
COVID, we were in well after everything opened back up again. As far as I was concerned, I think by that point, the only thing that was still had any rules was the healthcare side. But we had a sign on the door.
The healthcare side?
The like dental offices and stuff that still required masks.
Yeah.
So we didn't have, we were open after all of that. I mean, people were still leery about it at that time. But we had a sign on the door: no masks, no backpacks. You walk into a gun store with a mask on, typically that would be taken as a kind of a threat.
Yeah.
Dealt with accordingly, especially since we were down on State and given the situation.
The demographic of humans that frequent that area.
Man,
I know, bro.
I had really shiny hopes of that area getting all cleaned up and the new businesses and everything, restoring everything down there.
They're still talking about.
And I have a serial shitter in the back of my parking lot, and I'm going to find that motherfucker one day.
Bro, I got some homeless motherfuckers that frequent that area too that I'm always looking for.
Yeah.
And you've heard the stories on the podcast. They've fucked with my boat. They broke into my fucking clients' cars.
Did they get your sauna or something?
They got my sauna. So there's one of them that has tattoos that are very, very noticeable. And I know he frequents State Street. And it's like, when I see you, and there's been times I've like pulled my 4Runner over. My kids are in the back. I'm like, there's that motherfucker. And then I get a closer look. I'm like, oh, fuck. But he caused $5,000 of damage to my boat.
Yeah.
And I did a comprehensive investigation on my own, and I caught him. And I went to his house, and it ended up being his mom's house. And she's like, my son's homeless on the streets of Marysville, blah, blah, blah. But he still goes there and sells his stolen items on his offer up from her address. And I took it to the police, and they're like, yeah, this is great, blah, blah, blah. Nothing ever happens.
Shocker.
Yeah, because that's just how the system works now. And that's not a dig at the cops. The cops are just as frustrated as we are. I promise you. And
a lot of them are my clientele.
Yeah. But I bet when I knock that motherfucker's teeth out, they probably think that I'm going to go in handcuffs. And I'm fucking not, man. Like, when you steal $5,000 worth of stuff from another man, that should come with the threat of violence. And that's how fucking men have handled business since the beginning of time.
This state has just cost me almost $1 million.
Yeah, you're like, your $5,000 hit is nothing, bro.
And it's not to dick swag or anything like that.
It's just, that's the facts.
It's the fact that I have to sit here because of some couple of smarmy assholes up in their fucking ivory tower.
Yeah.
That deem us not worthy.
So then the new shop was up and running. And like you said, it didn't ever catch the momentum.
We had lines out the door.
Okay, it did then, huh? So a lot of the business was thriving then.
It was on the retail side again.
Yeah.
So, the original anticipation with the shop was really hammering on the training aspect, the laser shot system, all digital, used SIG 320s, had all the conversion kits and everything, had the air shot system and everything to make it so that it cycled to slide, but everything was digital. You could sit there and make your fingers bleed for hours on end, practicing, getting training. It's indoors. You don't have guns to clean. I mean, the goal was to have even the most scared, timid basics of people that had never really wanted to be around guns or were too scared to be able to step into what looked like a shoot house, a training facility. Take a look around. Here's this digital laser. It's got no live ammo. It's got all the taste and feel of everything as far as shooting at the range and everything is concerned. We try and make it as practical looking as possible. And that was the original allure. But it was, everything had been... It was like jumping from one panic to another. Every couple of years, a law would change, something would increase, and then, June would be a fucking knockout month as far as sales was concerned because something new bullshit was coming around because
everyone was afraid.
January 1st.
This was my last chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I remember that. I remember that happening several times.
Yeah.
I mean, what law was passed where... Was there something passed or was it just COVID when, like... Getting a 9mm round was almost impossible for a while.
That was COVID.
That was just COVID? Okay.
I mean, bad gas travels fast. Any politician that opens their fucking cock trap is going to sit there and spur something, as far as a run is concerned. It doesn't take a whole heck of a lot anymore.
Yeah.
You can almost time it around it. And it sucks. It's hard to survive or thrive in that market when you're sitting there and you're just basically preparing for the next... whatever is going to cause a run.
Yeah.
COVID, we had everything was dried up by what they called the rules in full effect by, was it April 20-ish?
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. There probably
Yeah, because I made my video May 5th because I was already, by May 5th, I couldn't handle it anymore because all the bullshit was in full fucking swing, So
by that time, all of the ammo probably dried up within 6 months of that.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 months of that. And then, you couldn't find shit. There was, unless you were in the bigger, shops, and that's a whole other story is with distributors and shit like that.
Well, bro, even Cabela's, because I had a friend, it was like a friend of a friend who worked there or had some connection with the people that work there. Yeah. And they'd be like, hey, at this date, at this time, 9mm getting delivered. I had like an inside source.
Yeah.
And you could, I think you could only get 2 boxes though at a time, something like that. So it's like, dude, that wasn't a viable solution either.
No, it wasn't. I mean, and one of our things was like the ammo that we had, any of the stuff that we could ever get in, free market. You could buy whatever you want as long as I could get it in. That was just the way we were treating. It was basically like, trying to just take bags of guns and ammo and just feed them to the masses as fast as fucking possible, because the world was going crazy.
Yeah.
No one knew what the fuck was going on in the first, throes of all this shit. I was using hand sanitizer every time I pumped my gas for the first couple of months. But
bro, I tell people, man, because like I see it on Instagram all the time, especially now. It's looking like they're going to start pushing this shit again.
Yeah.
Right.
They called it last month. They've got contracts starting and shit. People are looking up all the data and all this crap.
And so it's funny watching all these people on Instagram that are like, I didn't fucking comply with anything. Yep. I never wore a mask. I didn't take the vaccine. From day one, I said, and it's like, no, you didn't, motherfucker. Almost all of us complied to a certain degree because it was new and we didn't know. Yeah.
Fool me once, shame me.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't have any shame around that, because once I did take a step back and really analyze what was going on and come to the conclusion that it was bullshit, well, I stood up and I stood my ground and I said what I believed, and I drew those hard lines in the sand. And it's going to be very interesting to see
how the same fucking people are going to do it again.
And you think everybody's just going to fucking roll over again? Man, I'm hopeful that
it's going to be a pretty hardcore core that does it, though.
Oh,
that's going to be the fun part, is seeing those people that are like, fuck yeah, tattoos round 2. Let's do this. Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah.
Shit. I don't know. You're going to have your core nucleus of fucking nut jobs that are going to ride this thing. Those are the people that are still wearing masks, walking outside by themselves, and you want to so badly just roll your window down and point and laugh at them.
Bro, I know. Like, I'm to the point now where, like, if you have a mask on, I'm not interested in talking to you.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's like you're a server at a restaurant or just some like random interaction. Like, you got to figure some shit out before I have any interest in sharing any energy with you.
Well, and here's the ironic part to that too. So as a store owner, I made it a purposeful point, and it's printed on the sign outside that's posted at the door before you even fucking walk in. It says no masks.
Yeah.
So here's the funny part of this. So the same time we were going around not wearing masks around all the people that were bitching and crying and needing masks are now the same fucking people that are ignoring my no mask sign coming in wearing masks still.
Oh, yeah. Fuckers, man.
I have learned an awful lot in this last year. As a business owner, as a citizen of this country,
Bro, I'll tell you what. I was just talking to the guys that I run Guns and Giza with, because all three of us own jiu-jitsu academies, and we all came to the conclusion that, like, masks are banned inside of the academy. And, previously I banned masks for people training because it's like, I can't have you training
half-gassed.
Yeah, and being deprived of fucking oxygen. Like, I might not be a doctor, but to me, that sounds like a bad idea. And I'm not going to be the one that gets fucking caught in some bullshit and am liable because you fucking are suffocating yourself while trying to train jiu-jitsu. The other side of jiu-jitsu is it's intimate. You're up close. You're rubbing on each other. Like, a mask can't even, it's not even fucking feasible, And so we've never allowed masks on the mat, but there's a handful of parents that would come in and they'd sit on the couch and watch their kids train with masks on. And there was always a part of me that's like, tell those fucking people to get out of here. And then my wife, who's the reasonable half of me, is like, hey, listen, you preach live and let live. You preach fucking you do you, I'll do me. You preach all that stuff. This is where you have to really believe that and implement that. And part of me is like, okay, she's right. Like, if you want to fucking put a mask on your face, then that shouldn't be my problem. But now, 3 years later, all the science and data is out there. You saw Fauci getting grilled the other day. And there's like, well, this study shows that masks were ineffective. This study shows that masks are actually dangerous.
And his response is, well, there's other studies.
There's other studies that have looked at on the individual level. That's what he said. And it's like, on the individual level.
Like, he retired as the highest paid government employee retiree out of.
Bro, it's shocking, dude. It's absolutely shocking. After lying under oath, Rand Paul caught him lying under oath on numerous things, on the gain of function, on knowing what was going on in Wuhan, knowing that the protein structures of the fucking virus look like it was man-made.
And you're in my dollars paid for it.
Yeah, and we made him rich at the same time. All that's proven now, and we're still listening to that cocksucker. It's fucking shocking, dude. And so knowing what we all know now, inside of electric jiu-jitsu, both electric north and electric south, because me and Joao talked about this, masks are not allowed. You will be asked to leave, then you'll be thrown out, and then you'll be trespassed. And don't take it personal. The fact is, if that is your values and that's your belief structure, and you're someone that can be manipulated by the government into believing a false narrative, I don't really want you to be part of our team.
Nor do I want to sell you a gun.
Yeah, exactly. And so, all those since I was a little boy, every business you go into, there's a little sign that says, we reserve the right to refuse business to anyone, like that's always been a thing, but
now everyone's all about HIPAA violations.
Yeah, exactly, dude. You don't know. I have an autoimmune disorder and blah, blah, blah. Well, then you're probably better off not coming in here,
Stay the fuck home.
Stay the fuck home. Stay the fuck safe. And dude, so when all this shit kicks off again, and
we know it's going to.
I was just going to say, I hope I'm wrong, but my intuition is telling me we're leading into an election cycle. They want to cause chaos. They want to cause discontent. They want to cause division. We know this is going to happen again. And I'm hopeful that the men and women, to tell you the truth, women more, because women seem to stand their ground more than men did, at least in my own.
That was our biggest demographic increase during COVID was women.
Yeah, bro. I saw more women both like personally and through social media standing their ground than the men did, which is, I don't know why that necessarily is. I think women just have a fierceness in them, that motherly protector instinct. And once you push them past where they're comfortable, they're going to step the fuck up. But most men in America, maybe not most, but a large percentage, are just fucking castrated. Yeah.
I had a guy who came maybe like 2 months after. So we were really well in the swing as far as the shop being in trouble and being able to stay there in our loss of business and everything. Huge dude, probably hadn't done a sit-up in 30 years. Came in with his son, everything else. We were closed because we were busy dealing with government BS. So we had to be closed, get some work done around the shop. And this guy comes up and he's like, "Oh, why are you closed today?" I'm like, "Well, 1240 and 5078 with everything that's going on, business dove off, and we're having to kind of tailor and curb our days when we're open because it costs me $250 to power that shop every day that the lights are on. If I don't sell $250 at least worth of stuff, that does not make a good day. So natural byproduct." And he just sits there and he's like, "Okay." Like, I'm not asking for sympathy or anything about this. I'm just asking for more people to fucking realize what the fuck is actually going on here.
Yeah.
We're just the first part of this whole deal. We're just rolling into, I don't know what the end game is. I don't know anything as far as where this could lead to. But you take guns out of the equation or make it impossible to do so, or make criminals out of those that were law abiding up until the stroke of a fucking pen.
Yeah.
It's a big fucking problem.
Well, bro, it depends on how far down the rabbit hole you look, too. They want to crush all small business. I mean, I think you will own nothing and you will love it. Like, I think the government's end game is total control. And
well, how many J6ers are the feds still rolling up?
Oh, I know. It's still happening.
Didn't it just happen? Like, I saw there was a video that was released. I think one of the guys in Ohio wasn't even a part of the deal, or was like on the lawn or something.
Yep, and they just snatched him up.
Yeah.
Raided his house.
Yeah.
His pregnant fucking wife was in the house and shit. Fuck you. And dude, I used to be a federal agent that fucking did raids on houses.
And there wasn't a single armed person there.
Fuck, man. When are the men that actually hold the power in this country going to say, we don't do this? You can do that. You can say no. If a whole fucking SWAT team or SRT team or HRT team that's tasked with fucking going and hitting a house, if every one of you says, that's not an operation I'm interested in being part of, then the operation doesn't take place. Oh, well, then I might be looking at losing my livelihood. Well, not if everybody does it. If you all fucking do it, we can solve this problem. But when it's only ones and twos standing up, they fucking just squish you like a bug like they did me, and the machine keeps churning. And you better fucking wake up, and you better start fucking thinking about putting morals and ethics before your fucking paycheck. Because that's exactly what's happening. Did you see what they just passed? Or not passed, but proposed in California? A $20,000 fine for business owners that assault people that are looting their store.
Yep.
I mean, fuck, man. We're business owners. Sure, I own a jiu-jitsu academy, so it's probably not a target-rich environment for someone to come in here and try and steal something, because I think our inventory for actual retail is just some hats and some shirts.
Right.
But make no fucking mistake. If you fucking come in here high on methamphetamine and grab 10 shirts and think that you can run out of here, I'm going to fucking beat you to death. Period. And if a fucking police officer, yes, right. And if a police officer or some county official says, oh, well, since you protected your own property from a criminal act, we're going to fine you. And that's what they're doing. That's what they want to do in California. Because have you seen the videos of citizens getting fed up? Mm-hmm. And the two gentlemen, the East Indians that owned the 7-Eleven, you saw that one? And that fucking dude brought a garbage can in and was just taking like hundreds of packs of cigarettes. And then that one dude fucking grabbed a broomstick or something and started whooping his ass. Good.
Yep.
Like, no one has the right to tell you not to be able to defend yourself. No one has that right. And sure, you can say, oh, it's just property and property is insured. Well, listen, dummy, detach from what you're hearing on the mainstream media and think about people pay into insurance, and every time you use your policy, guess what happens? The rates go up. So like, I can't just fucking claim insurance for the next 20 years so these degenerates can come into my business and steal all my shit every day. And as soon as there was another video a couple days ago of some big fat black dude getting his ass beat by several dudes. I think it might have been a jewelry store or something. And they chased.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you saw that one?
I just caught a blip of that one. I didn't watch it all the way through.
I mean, they just fucking like were whooping his ass. Same thing, like with a fucking broom handle or something. And the funny thing is, none of these guys even know how to fight, and nobody's even getting severely injured.
Right.
They've just reached a point where I'm fed up. No one's coming to save you, like my fucking slogan, we always say here. And I think it's something like in $900. If it's $900 or less, the police aren't even going to take a report.
Right. And the response to that one shop owner who made everything like $919 or whatever, but included a coupon to make it whatever the regular price was. Oh. So that if anyone stole anything, it was worth that because it was tagged.
Fucking smart, bro.
Right?
Hey, if they're going to fucking play all these dumb games, we need to play dumber games. Yeah. But now they don't want you to be able to defend yourself.
Nope.
And you have to just look at that situation and say, why on earth would the government create laws where all of my stuff is up for grabs from criminals? And this isn't happening here or there. It's literally happening everywhere in California. Mm-hmm. And now when we've decided, hey, we've had enough and we're going to protect our livelihoods, now we're the criminals. Like, think about that, man. That's some fucking dark shit, dude. And that's where we're at now.
And we're in a front row seat for it.
Yeah. Fuck, man.
At least Oregon's putting up a little bit more of a fight. We haven't seen shit for Washington yet. I haven't seen the last William Kirk video or anything, but I know there was still one decision, I believe, still in the Eastern District in regards to a preliminary injunction on 1240. So
yeah.
That was supposed to be done last Friday, but I haven't followed up since. So
well, and fuck, man, people want to say like, again, like, oh, it's property. It's actually my livelihood, and it's how I feed my children. So like, if you think you can deprive a man of his ability to put food on his table, and there's not going to be consequences for that, your head's up your fucking ass. You know? And I bet if you went into Jay Inslee's fucking mansion, kicked his door down, and stole a bunch of shit, I bet something would happen to you. Probably, right? So suddenly, people that steal shit are going to get prosecuted. And so, you're like, fucking, let's get fired up. Let's get crazy. What were you said 1240? What were the two newest ones that were just kind of the nail in the coffin for your business?
1240 was the assault rifle ban, but it basically did away with parts, pieces, like repair. It created such a weird, broad spectrum chain of bullshit that none of our suppliers are sending anything out. Washington State
so they won't even send it to Washington. Because, they don't want it. Some
stuff we can get. Very, very limited as far as the scope and spectrum. We go off here on that one, but it's just some bullshit thing that was signed in, April 25th on a quote unquote emergency clause.
Emergency clause, dude. Like, what's the emergency? I would like to know.
Whatever they're about to create.
Yeah. Fuck, man. And so 1240, when they implemented that, aren't now, at least in the state of Washington, when they say assault weapons, which again is just a fabricated term because it sounds scary. Once that got normalized, they upgraded to weapons of war because that sounds even scarier. But isn't it any rifle that's magazine fed now?
I have to look back at the exact specifics of it. It's been a little while since I've paid attention to it. I just know that as far as it's concerning the retail side of things, it is a very ugly deal, and we get very, very limited, if not anything, coming in, and it's totally decimated our business. Some of it's bad gas. Suppressors are still allowed, but you can't get the fucking muzzle devices to put them on. So people, like it was like a decade ago, where it was you could own them, you could have them mounted on your gun, but you couldn't shoot through them. And that was like 07, 08, and then there was a clarification that had happened. I think it was along with the manufacturing clause or whatnot for SBRs when it wasn't a reclassification. I forget exactly what it was and how it came about, but it was nerve-wracking about the manufacture of SBRs because they were having to try and get the AG involved for this, just to change the lingo in the law to us to be able to SBR our own stuff. It's like walking on eggshells with these people, and then all the other laws and everything came about, and they just one fence board at a time. And now we're to the point where you can't get hardly shit other than lever guns, pump action shotguns.
Well, and that's
some handguns.
And again, like I said earlier in the show, I butcher shit all the time. But I remember reading something of the effect that any rifle that is magazine fed, and if that's the case, I mean, fuck, man, my boys can't have a Ruger 1022 anymore.
Yeah. And I still have to look up and actually make sure that this is actually the deal. But there was even, I believe, if it had a suppressor attached to a bolt action rifle, it all of a sudden reclassed it because it was constructive intent.
Jesus, dude.
To have a rifle and have a suppressor in the same bag or own both or anything like that. Like, again, this thing is so disgusting.
Suppressed bolt action rifle. Tell me the last time that's been used in a fucking crime. Like, it's so crystal clear these people are just trying to circumnavigate the Constitution, because if they can't just come out and say we're banning guns, because that'll cause fucking pandemonium.
Yeah.
So they're doing it quietly. And they're doing it through, again, death by 1,000 cuts. And I mean, same thing with Glocks now. It's fucking 10 round magazines, right? For handguns and rifles. It fucking drives me nuts, dude.
And that was last year. That was, that was the mag ban.
Is that not, but that is just for purchasing, right?
Correct. Everything is still grandfathered for now.
So like when you're carrying, you can still have your 15 round magazines.
And this is where
I'm not trying to put you on the spot as a lawyer.
Okay. No, and that's the problem is that for me, just as the shop owner and everything, it's like, okay, for me, 1240 bad. It's stopping sales of stuff to me, and that's kind of where I lost the nuance of it. So I'd have to go back and look and actually read it again. But the grandfathering portion on like the magazines and stuff, yeah. But I believe that there was something in 1240 that was signed into where it was like either everything had to be, like if you were carrying, everything had to be 10 rounds now. Like there was no grandfather portion to that. Again, I have to read back up on that one. But I thought 1240 had changed something in regards to the magazines, but pay attention to it. So
I don't either. I carry a Shield Arms in my 48. So my concealed carry is 15+1. And if you don't like it, come and fucking do something about it.
Yeah.
That's it, man. And if we all say that, there's no issue.
Well, and then again, the other big frustrating part about this big loss of business and everything isn't even so much the fact that I can't get anything practically in the state anymore, is that the people that had been regulars and even the people that had just shown up and just done a transfer or two or anything like that, I'll see some of those people again, but we got to get on the same page, man.
Well, and I tell
you believe on your rights and everything else until someone signs something else, and then all of a sudden you're just following along, and that's where
I'm done following along, bro. Yeah. I'm on the team of fuck you.
It's gonna be a big ass fucking uphill push to try and do so and get more people to fucking wake up, and that's where I think COVID 2.0 is gonna
fuck things again.
I don't think necessarily. I mean, it's going to do it in its own way as far as that's concerned. Honestly, I have more concern for those that had actually taken the vaccine with what 2.0 could potentially bring as far as injury or death is concerned.
Yeah.
I don't worry about the unvaccinated because I don't know anyone that's unvaccinated with myocarditis or any of the other shit. So
bro,
that's just me.
I don't know how many more people need to die suddenly or fucking 22-year-old athletes having myocarditis or falling over on the fucking soccer field before people will finally say, bro, this isn't about right or left or what fucking ideology you share. It's like, and even if you don't even want to admit that this was intentional or nefarious, you can at least say, maybe they fucked up because something's going on here. Yeah. 22-year-old athletes haven't been fucking dropping like flies ever in my life, and now they are.
I still love and care for my neighbors.
Yeah, of course,
I'm a fucking
man.
human.
Yeah, dude.
I don't agree with the sense that we feel like that we've been cattle herded into bullshit. I'm glad a handful of us had fucking seen through all that crap and are trying to make as much noise as possible before 2.0 hits. We know it's going to happen. It's too fucking easy.
Fuck, man. And the bizarre thing is like all of these people that just fucking hung their hat on everything that was COVID related, you know, they're going to do it again.
Yeah.
And I think
they got that taste of power.
Part of them, or I'm saying the people that are like being the useful idiots and going around and saying, oh, get vaccinated and this and that.
It's
and like
still a power
shaming
thing,
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
But it's still a power thing. They
That's
got that taste of power.
That's their time.
They were able to hide their ugly ass face behind a fucking diaper.
Yeah. Dude, COVID was the best thing that ever happened to ugly chicks.
God. Yep.
Yeah, fuck, dude. Did you see that video going around? Because I think a lot of people, and me included to a certain extent, kind of forgot how demonized we were for simply saying, I'm not taking your vaccine.
And still are.
Because it's new. I'm not at risk of death.
Yeah.
I'm fucking fit. I work out every day. I eat clean foods. I drink water. I don't need your vaccine. And do you remember it was like Don Lemon on the nightly news? You don't want to get vaccinated? Don't get to go to the grocery store. Yep. The president, winter of death is coming.
Or who was the previous New York mayor who was sitting there eating French fries and shit? Like, trade your fucking life for a donut.
Yeah. Fuck, dude. That was Cuomo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Or no, that was the governor. That was the governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo.
Yep.
They're all the fucking same. Yeah. Fuck all those people, dude. So then what was the next? It was the assault weapons ban, all the parts.
5078.
5078.
Yeah.
And that was what? Again, just a basic.
The basic that I understand it is basically lawsuit in perpetuity. So it's federally illegal. You have the industry protection standards, laws in place. You know, the person that happened to get their foot run over by Caterpillar can't sue Caterpillar or that kind of thing just because that was their machine, that kind of deal.
Yeah.
State law basically, for what I understand it to be, strips all of that away. So anyone that's a victim of gun violence can openly sue the supply chain all the way down to manufacturer.
Oh, so you're part of that now.
Yes.
I remember seeing that manufacturers can now be held liable.
It was the entire supply chain.
The whole supply chain.
To my knowledge, that's the way it reads.
So are some manufacturers then saying, I'm not interested in business with Washingtonians anymore?
You'll find a lot of the online ammo suppliers and whatnot have absolutely nothing to want to do with this. But there's also a ton of others, and props to those guys that said don't give a fuck, and they're still shipping. So,
but still, as a business,
that's a lot less.
A business that's making your livelihood off of this, when you have a certain percentage of people saying, I don't want to do business with you anymore, it's fucking scary, dude.
Look at Aero Precision.
Yeah.
They're just in Lakewood.
So I mean, I'm familiar with Aero Precision, but tell that story.
Not my place to
Not
say.
your place?
They're just AR-15 manufacturing. So they make parts and pieces, but Washington, to my knowledge, is that one of their, if not their biggest client.
Yeah.
They're our hometown rifle builders, basically.
Uh-huh.
So, and everyone always goes after that. And now I can't sell anything of theirs except for their bolt guns and suppressors.
No, I built an Aero Precision 308 from the floor up, just because I've never done that before. And it's like,
and everyone should know how to.
Yeah, everybody should know how to, right? Every part of the trigger, everything. Yeah. Built it from the ground up.
How many of those videos do you see of the Russian school kids or whatever sitting there fucking speed stripping AKs?
And I don't know if you were there or not, but I brought it into your shop and had someone just do a once over. Just to make sure that like the timing and everything was fucking torqued to the right specs and stuff. Cause I was like, it's my first gun I've ever built. I probably don't want it to go fucking blow up in my hands.
Which again, that was the purpose for the classroom, was classes like that.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Being able to share that knowledge and everything as far as the little nuances on that type of shit.
Dude, you can't teach people how to build guns. No. Fucking terrorists, dude.
Shit.
And so, after all this fallout, how long was it before you kind of just looked at numbers and data and realized this is no longer sustainable?
Instantly.
Yeah. Man, I had a buddy that owned a restaurant that as soon as Seattle changed the minimum wage laws, he's like, I went home and like literally just sat down and did math and realized my businesses are no longer sustainable. I'm fucked, you know? So same thing then, huh?
We had just opened. We went from sitting there going gangbusters on sales and everything else as far as that was concerned for the few months that we were allowed to. And then it gets signed on an emergency clause after waiting like an extra week or two or whatever it was before Inslee signed it. And then the doors shut. The lawyers set their memos and everything from the distributors, and that was it.
And so doors are now closing.
Yes.
And what date's that happening?
It's in process right now. It's just a buddy of mine and I that are doing everything. So we've got to try and cram back down 4,000 square feet back down to 140 square feet.
And were you renting that structure, or did you purchased it, right?
And that was the thing. It was a lease option without the option. So we were locked in for the purchase. We were getting everything geared up, ready to go. COVID happened. We bought an extra year, just treated it as a month-to-month lease, basically. But yeah, we had to unwind that deal. We did that one last month and just slowly collapsing everything down. But I got to get the ATF involved, the shutdown and blah, 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 because we got suppressors and everything else that we got to deal with. So it's just this fucking long, asinine series of projects that I never thought in a million years would happen less than a year than, being open.
And your fucking life savings went into opening that place.
Fuck yeah.
And
I'm so overextended in that place. It's not even funny.
Fuck, man. Yeah, because I just purchased a gun last week, and from Gunbroker, I got that little notification that's like, make sure you touch base with your FFL. Yep. And I didn't.
That's the canned response that they send out with anyone that does any sort of purchase, or it's just make sure your ducks are in a row is basically all it is. So, I get the notifications the same as you.
So the person that's sending that to you, everything should be good to go then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just come and do your background. We book it in, do your background, wait your time, and come pick it up.
But that's kind of what led to this, because I had no idea. And you wrote me and you said, hey, I think you might be the last transfer that we actually do. Mm-hmm. And I was like, fuck, man. Because I know just walking through that place when it was just fucking kind of bare bones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we didn't even have lights on in there.
Yeah. And someone that's built a business from the ground up, it's like people can't imagine what goes into this. And to put all of those resources and money and time and effort to be open for fucking, I mean, really being open at capacity for just a couple months, really, huh?
Yep. And as far as the fit and feel is concerned on that one, being a dad of a 7-year-old, it feels like a kid dying.
Yeah, bro, for sure.
I mean, I had more time and energy spent, building that place out and going through the permitting and waiting the time and doing the business and everything else, and had my friends involved, and everyone was throwing all sorts of time and energy and extra hands, and it was insane. It really kind of became the first co-op gun shop, so to say, because everyone that had been a regular at some point had something to do with something helping hang walls or wire the place or clean it up or anything else. So it was definitely a team effort as far as all this stuff was concerned, getting this place up and running, and just to see it not stop smelling like OSB. Everything's still fresh, everything's still fucking clean, everything's still unused.
Fuck, that hurts my heart, man. So then it's literally back to the old shop.
I hand the keys back, walk away from everything,
and
go
then
back to the house, and we'll get into Cerakote
and keep doing business the way you were doing it privately, huh? Or previously, I should say.
And it's fun.
I wish I knew you were getting into Cerakote because
this is just a new one. We go down to Oregon tomorrow to pick up the oven. So
I don't know if you saw the Glock that I bought.
The Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's because my wife has been like, I think it'd be really cool if you got a white Glock.
Yeah.
Because she got
everyone's got to have a personality.
Yeah, she got I got her like a camo white gun belt and all the shit, and I've been taking her and some of her girlfriends shooting, and so it's her 41st birthday, and I want to be like, hey, look, when you're on the range with me now, you can shoot my white Glock. But what does Cerakote cost?
That one is up to the individual shop. So Cerakote proper doesn't have a minimum advertising price or anything, so they're just find out what shops in your area are charging what and find a spot.
Okay.
All right, cool. So we're working on it.
Yeah, I guess you can't.
Everyone's kind of gone to quote only or whatnot. They don't necessarily have a posted price list, so we're having to do some investigation first. But we'll have a list by next week when we get everything spun up.
And is Cerakote, I mean, I guess I understand that you can fucking paint your Glock, for lack of a better term, but is it actually like a coating on it, or is it?
I'm going to butcher this too. It's a ceramic coating.
Okay.
It lays down very thin if you're applying it correctly. Depending on which version of it you get, you can either have really high UV resistance and high wearability, or some versions of it that are not so much in one category or the other. So everything's got a purpose for it, but you can do engine blocks, you can do scuba tanks, you can do fly fishing gear, you can do fishing gear, any of the stuff that rusts.
Oh, that's crazy.
Guns is obviously a market we were tailored in. We have all of our vinyl cutters and everything else, so we can start doing camo patterns and all that other stuff. So the nice part is Tim, who's helping me out, previous commercial painter, so he was like, oh fuck, I never thought I would get into this again. But at least you can be creative with it. That's the cool part about it, is you can do whatever the fuck you want with it. How many Mandalorian and Nintendo zappers have you seen posted on Instagram? So there's a pretty wide swath there, but that's one of the big things that I've learned as far as running a business is concerned, is it's pivot or die.
Yeah.
Especially in this industry, just because the laws change on a fucking yearly basis and you got to try and chase your asshole through one way or the other. And
then next year they'll say, no painting guns.
Yeah. I'm fucking waiting for it, sit here and get another 10 grand into it and then have to fucking turn around and do something else. But that's the reason why Cerakote's so awesome, is because you can take that across any number of industrial applications.
Got it.
That this is the pivot. We're moving away from having the training facility and the classroom and the big shop and everything to doing the Cerakote. That's going to take up the bulk of our space and everything. The retail side, for obvious reasons, is going to be a very, very small part of it. We'll still do all of our NFA suppressors and Form 1s.
That was my next question.
Yeah, all that stuff is still trucking on. It's a complete clusterfuck right now because we're dealing with the ATF. So bear with if you're listening to this. Yeah, we're getting a whole shit pot of things that we've never had to do before sorted out and figured out, and it's just one big laborious process.
I know you said like suppressors are still a go, but some of the mechanisms in which you mount them are now banned.
It's the muzzle device.
Yeah. Is my Geisley Super Duty good to go?
I have to refresh my memory on that one and take a look at it.
Okay.
It's been a minute.
Because I remember when I bought it, you guys were recommending a specific Surefire can.
And all of that stuff is all still grandfathered in. So we're fine there as far as that's concerned. It's just like if you wanted to get another device, you know, to be able to fit the can onto another rifle, like right now, by the law, I can't do it.
I see. Okay. Because I think it's time to put a can on my Geisley.
Yeah.
So
I brought my 18 with me, so you can check it out if you want to.
Okay.
I got it all gussied up. That's
probably going to be my next purchase. It seems like suppressors are just the way everybody's going.
It has been for the rest of the world. We're one of the only areas or only countries in the world that fucking have any sort of regulation around cans. There's countries that you go to and you're buying it off the shelf at a sporting goods store. It's a courtesy. We have legal requirements to have mufflers on cars. They should be on every fucking firearm in America.
Yeah, what a weird. I mean, people think like. I mean, what do they think? Like, I'm going to put a suppressor on a gun, and some people think now it's like silent. You can't even hear it.
Yeah,
and you're going to go assassinate somebody. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like
there's some cans out there that are getting pretty fucking good reviews.
Yeah. What are the top cans right now?
As far as sales are concerned, CGS Hyperion for anything 30 cal. We do a lot of rugged cans as well. CGS has definitely hit some out of the park. They're doing a lot of the 3D printed stuff. So the way that they design them and build them and everything else has had fantastic performance reviews so far. And so I've been really stoked about using their guys' cans. I'll have to bring some out the next time I got all the demos and stuff. We can hit up the range and
fuck yeah, dude.
You can give them a dance and see. Everything is still loud. You're still getting supersonic bullets flying out of, barrel doing thousands of feet per second and all that. You're doing a really damn good job in the designs as far as the cans are concerned. So they're always increasing and getting better. But there's definitely some diehard, older designs and whatnot that you can definitely stand by. So
yeah,
you don't necessarily have to get top of the line or, anything else like that to get really good performance out of them.
I'm kind of a snob though.
That's fine.
I like buying top of the line shit.
Yeah.
It makes me feel better about myself.
Yeah.
My coats have to be Arc'teryx.
That's all good. I'm just saying there's every flavor of the rainbow. That's the nice part about suppressors is they definitely hit a wide spectrum, but I feel like everyone should at least experience them once. To just realize they're not as quiet as you think they are.
No.
If your entire basis of what a suppressor does is based off of a movie, you need to go to the range. You should go to the range anyway, but you know what I mean.
Someone just went to my range and literally policed up every single last casing. Because Toby texted me last week. He goes, "Bro, did you do range cleanup today?" I said, "No. What are you talking about?"
Do you have a brass bandit out there?
Yeah, we got a brass bandit. And
he probably rolls up on a fucking Gator 4x4.
100%.
He's probably 80 years old.
Yeah.
With a couple of 3-gallon buckets. Yeah.
So I have to.
That's funny.
It's funny because there's a part of me that's like, thank you.
Oh yeah.
No,
I don't want to fucking clean
I don't want to do that.
How many
shit.
ranges did you want to clean up when you were in service?
Dude. Police call was the fucking worst. In the Ranger Regiment, it's like, privates get online, and you got another fucking 40 minutes of training, basically. So part of me wants to say thank you, but then the other part of me is like, motherfucker,
get the fuck off my lawn.
Get the fuck off my lawn. Or at least come talk to me about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you want to police brass and go sell it for whatever, or maybe you're a fucking reloader, I doubt that. Yeah. They're probably meth heads, because I think you get like $1.70 a pound or something. It
wouldn't fucking surprise me.
Some bullshit like that. But bro, like, with the amount of shooting we've done the last couple of weeks, he had to be out there for a minimum of 2 hours. It's like, dude.
Unless he's high as shit. you might want to fucking hire him.
Yeah, exactly, dude. So my next move is game cams.
Yep.
Because it was my sauna, and then it was my climbing ropes.
I'm honestly kind of amazed you haven't already.
Bro, I know. It's like, initially...
You've been having an issue for a minute since you had this property.
And it's just been fucking busy and life's been happening. Yeah. But I wanted to get a game cam that's connected to like Starlink that can send me a text, because fucking cell phone service out there is pretty shoddy, right? So now I have to not only put the cams out there, but I have to also get some type of internet service, because I was hopeful that I could set a system up to where my phone beeps and there's like, yes, somebody's on my property. But I think in the meantime, I just need to fucking put cams with SD cards that I can pull and just get an idea of what's going on out there, you know? And, man, it's so frustrating because there's literally nothing worse than a thief, you know?
And it's just one of those things where if everyone had just minded their own business and not taking your shit, you wouldn't have to sit here and try and worry about internet, your property, and game cams and everything else.
And the sauna was frustrating because
I bet.
I'm a huge fan of contrast therapy. I've been doing it for years.
Well, wasn't that thing like brand new too?
Yeah, I think I had it. And the worst part about it, it was a promotion deal. I'm working with that company.
Did you get that sorted out?
Yeah, like I'm still promoting their product with the handful of pictures and videos I have, you know, but I don't get to use it anymore.
Right.
But dude, like contrast therapy out there, that sauna it was a wood-fired sauna. It'd get hot as fuck. Put it up right next to the river, and like the South Fork of the Stilly it's pretty freezing year round. But I forget what time of year it was. The water was fucking like, you go under and you're getting a brain freeze, and then you jump back in the sauna. And it's just fucking awesome, right? But what's more frustrating than the sauna is the fucking climbing ropes, because it's like, sure, they didn't cost as much, but that's how my children get down the bank to spend time on our beach.
Not to mention the safety that you have to go through now to relay those lines.
Yeah, dude.
Back off again.
And
it's not like it's a fucking shallow ass fucking hill you got to climb there.
No, I know. And fucking like, what type of human being fucking takes fixed climbing ropes? And I had a bunch of nice locking carabiners too, like the ones that I use when I climb Rainier. Mm-hmm. And of course, all those are gone. And it's just like, man, at what point do we just get to start fucking burying these people? You know, I would never in a million years consider taking somebody's fixed ropes off of a piece of property that they use to go down and have campfires with their fucking children, you know? But that's the world we live in, dude. Like, from the beginning of time, human beings dealt with those types of people. They've always existed, but we got to deal with them. Put them in stocks and pillories out in the fucking town square and throw tomatoes at their fucking ass.
Dance them around. Or Scarlet Letter.
Or cut their fucking hands off, you know? And now for the rest of your life, you have to wipe your ass with your left hand and also be shamed everywhere you go because everyone knows you're a fucking thief, you know? And until we start having some type of accountability, it's only going to get worse.
Well, it's bringing back a sense of morals and morality that's just not, I mean, and they're purposefully teaching this stuff and taking it out of schools now. And it's just, I've got my daughter in the public system and I'm just not holding a whole hell of a lot of hope with that one. So,
bro, get her out of there.
I know.
Get her out of there, bro.
I'm dealing with my ex.
I hear that. Yeah, you have more layers to dissect to be able to make being co-parenting with an ex, man. But like for my daughters, pulling them out of public school is one of the best decisions I've ever made. And I just watched their overall mental health improve because the public schools, and there's a lot of good public school teachers out there, but there's also a lot that are agenda driven. They want to push a narrative. And it's like, I don't want my kids learning about lesbian sex when they're 10.
Well, that was one of the first things. So today was her first day of school. Had parent-teacher conference, just a meet and greet with the teacher and everything after. And that's the first thing I'm doing is looking around in the classroom and everything. And I'm like, well, thank God, at least I see an American flag and a state flag.
Yeah.
I don't see anything else. So I'm like, okay, I can at least breathe a little bit easier. And, you know.
It's not the LGBTQ flag and the Ukraine flag.
Well, and the worst part is it's the same school I went to when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. So I saw what it was in the late 80s versus what it is now. And it's just like, fuck, man. You're just sitting here pulling your freaking hair out because you just know and just look at these people that are sitting here being paid to
indoctrinate.
That's it.
I mean, if you think about it, it's our adversaries. It's a very smart play for them because they get in our children's heads when they're fucking 5, 6, 7, 10, 12. Now they're going to be fucking brainwashed and manipulated That's why all the college kids are completely fucking just.
And the psyop worked.
The psyop worked,
You
man.
you look at the cycle of everything now, because, okay, I'm 41. You're what, 41, 42?
42. I turn 43 next month.
Okay, so you'll be on the same page then. How many of your teachers that you had going through when you were in school had stories, had life experiences, had jobs and shit that was before all of that? Guys that worked for Boeing, or were machinists, or did service,
or veterans,
or whatever. Now, look at it. You sit there and you get the comments, oh, where was this teacher, a little hot teacher or whatever when I was in school. Now they've got them where they're sitting there, they're all grown up, they go through school, they get their indoctrination more so through college, they graduate, they become teachers, and the first fucking thing that they do is become a teacher.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that, because a teacher, for lack of a better word, is a leader. You are in a leadership position when people are looking up to you for direction and advice and instruction. And if you don't have life experience, you can't be a leader. Yeah. Those two things are not congruent.
And when I was in school, I had maybe 3 or 4 teachers that were under the age of 30.
Yeah, for sure.
Everyone else was in, almost retirement age or getting to that point or whatnot.
Yeah.
But everyone had life experience to be able to know that there is bullshit and there is no bullshit.
For sure, man.
And you can actually have a conversation and have a voice and learn some shit, and just not sit here and just give this canned state crap or whatever they're trying to force down our kids' throats now.
Especially like your elective teachers, like your wood shop and your metal shop, like all those dudes were like men.
And those people do not exist in the public schools.
Do they not have that stuff anymore?
I haven't. My daughter's only 7.
So yeah, it's hard to know.
But I would imagine they probably didn't have a whole lot of provision for that.
Yeah.
But I'll let you know.
And like the private school, it's called Lighthouse Academy in Snohomish that my daughters are in now. Bro, they have like gun day. Mm-hmm. They have an archery club. They have a boxing, like a boxing elective for fitness, like real shit. Yeah.
Life skills.
Life skills, man. And you see videos of kids in the 50s, like there was a shooting range in schools. Maybe not every school.
The basements. Yeah,
there was nothing intimidating or scary about a group of 12th graders going and learning about marksmanship, And guess what we didn't have? Any school shootings, Well, speaking of RFK, that's one thing that he did say, because people were saying like he's very anti two-way and he's another gun grabber and stuff. And I saw a clip where he's like, we don't have a firearms problem in America. We have a mental health problem. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, finally. Someone's finally willing to even say that is fucking huge.
Well, on a national level, it will hopefully just bring that more to light as far as this stuff is concerned. That we need to, it's not even a redirect. We just need to have a fucking moment of clarity as a nation and collectively unfuck ourselves and pull our heads out of our ass and realize that we actually do kind of need to get along. On this big ass fucking blue marble, and all we're doing right now is sitting here pecking at each other over stupid fucking shit.
Which is by design, so the elites at the top can control everybody and be fucking wealthy and get to do whatever the fuck they want.
Again, the psyop worked.
Yeah, dude. So, I know the left is like, RFK will not be the nominee, or I should say the Democratic Party has said that. And he's running anyways. Do you even know what is his method of moving forward? Because at the end of the day, if the party is unwilling to nominate him, does he even have a path to possibly even running?
I have no idea. I am not a political science major as far as this stuff is concerned.
Bro, everybody.
I watch Newsmax.
For a while there, everybody was a fucking poli-sci. Just because that was the easiest degree, right?
Yeah. Thank God for GI bills.
But fuck, man, they're gonna. Let's be fucking perfectly clear. The people that they don't want running, they're gonna stop them from running. Yeah. Look what they're doing to Trump. Yeah.
And if they're willing to go to that length for a former president,
what
the fuck do they think they're gonna do with you? I can't remember. I think it was one of Clinton's now suicided people that was talking about how the political system just absolutely makes a game out of ruining people's lives.
Yeah.
And that's perfect example of everything else that's going on right now. And we're having, and it's happening at every fucking level.
Speaking of people being suicided, are you buying that Barack's chef drowned out in the lake?
I don't know. For as fast as that made it through the news cycle, no.
Yeah.
Not particularly.
At the same time when you got people coming out about his fucking homosexual past.
Yeah.
You know?
That was an interesting photo to see make the meme web.
Dude, Tucker, do you see Tucker Carlson just did an interview with the fucking like crackhead that talks about using to fuck Obama?
Yeah. Holy shit.
Dude.
But seeing the stuff like how fast did UFOs get dropped from the news cycle?
Bro, I was fascinated by that because you would think that fucking, hey, there's aliens here, right? You would think that would be like a big deal, but there's so much bullshit going on.
That's just it.
That when they drop that, people are like, cool, don't fucking care, dude.
I got a lot going on in my life.
I'm losing my fucking business. I'm losing my livelihood. And some alien flew through the atmosphere. Good. I don't fucking care.
I got my own fucking problems here.
Yeah. Or maybe it was just another big fucking psyop.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
How fast it moved through everything. I don't know anything that happened out of that. I mean, it's just like the key dangle for people anymore is just so fucking short.
And also just the way these fucking people talk. Like, I don't know if you watched any of that testimony, but the guy that was testifying, like, there was biologics present at the crash site. And it's like, can you just say you found a fucking alien body? You know,
just
like,
get it out there.
Just be a fucking normal person and speak in normal fucking terms and articulate what the fuck happened. But everything is such a word game that people they're sick of it, man.
Everything's about national defense. Everything's got to be coded and operated and dumbed down and reworded and retooled to spit out some sort of emotion for the American people that buy into this bullshit still.
And bro, like, I think most people are just sick of that. Yeah. You know, like, we don't need you to fucking hide everything from us for our protection. Yeah. Like, just tell us what the fuck's going on. But you know, you can't trust anything anymore. You can't trust the government. You can't trust the media. And I honestly think that's one of the reasons why the UFO story just pretty much flopped and never caught any steam, is because maybe it's true, but maybe it's not. And nobody trusts anybody anymore.
I look down both ways of a one-way street.
yeah, you know,
it's just the way our society is anymore.
And
it's the worst part about it is you sit here and you're just like, you guys really did vote all this shit in. That guy's taking a dump on the sidewalk and you actually voted that shit in.
Yeah.
Like,
my wife watched a dude taking a dump on the sidewalk a couple days ago in Capitol Hill. She's like, I forget what she was doing down there. She's like, hey, I got to watch a guy take a shit today. And it's like, very interesting.
I remember when I was sitting there working down at Harbor Island, where that on-ramp from West Seattle Bridge to 5 North.
Yep.
I'm getting off a 12-hour security shift there. It's 6 a.m. I'm coming around the corner right as the I-5 splits. There's just some fucking random dude with his pants down just shaking his dick.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Welcome to Seattle, bro.
And that was 10 years ago. That was just like, holy shit.
Yeah,
everything was still clean. Yeah, that was weird.
That was the beginning.
That was and
now you'll probably see dicks every day in Seattle. Tyler was just telling me, Tyler Stanaway is on the podcast all the time. One of his buddies was driving through, I think it was Fremont, and he's like, dude, there was 2 men butt fucking, naked butt fucking on a whole. The one guy was holding on to a stop sign. And he said the most ironic thing about it is it was the middle of the day and people are walking by, not even paying attention, not even acknowledging. Yeah. Like it was just another fucking day in North Seattle.
And they vote that way.
And these people keep fucking thinking like all of these people that have pushed the agenda and turned our cities into cesspools, maybe they don't vote that way. Maybe everything's fucking rigged, bro.
It wouldn't surprise
because
me.
everybody I know is fed up with what's happening in our cities. Yeah. And I know I live in somewhat of an echo chamber. Like the people that I share time and space with typically share similar views than me. But I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on. Do you want men butt fucking on the sidewalk? I'm pretty sure that would be a pretty unanimous agreement. We don't need that in our cities, you know? But for people to continue to vote these people in, it makes me just think like, maybe we're not even voting. Maybe everything's fucking rigged.
Has it been? How long have we been an absentee vote state?
It'll be interesting to see what happens leading into the 2024 election, because I don't think Biden can win against almost anybody. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be Trump.
Wet paper towel would do a better job.
That's what I'm saying, dude. A 10-year-old child has more cognition.
See, and the part that pisses me off, and this is, again, just as a human, you've got a guy that's in clear mental decline, and they're literally just propping him up for what?
Yeah, exactly. For what?
I mean,
if you have to lie to us, then we know that there's some fucking nefarious bullshit going on.
But even the nefarious bullshit, the part that pisses me off is that they would still prop up an 80-year-old man in front of everybody. I mean, just the fact that they would even do that in the first place, just to do that to another human being, it sucks. It's a shitty feeling, because if that's how they're dealing with this shit now, the fuck are they going to do with the rest of us?
My prediction is that they're going to turn their back on Biden for some reason. They don't give a fuck about him or Hunter. Like, they're not loyal to him. He is just a piece of the puzzle that they're using. Which is
why they don't want RFK.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely, dude. 100%.
It's going to be Newsom.
You think Newsom, huh?
It's going to be a last-second slide.
I think it's going to be a last-second slide. I think maybe Michelle Obama. Because, dude, if you don't vote for a black woman, you're a fucking racist, sexist piece of shit,
Apparently
dude.
You're not voting for a woman.
No, yeah, bro, 100%. Like
Michael Obama.
Yeah,
Whatever, fuck that.
Who's there's no pictures of her ever being pregnant or with babies. Like, who doesn't have pictures with their babies? You know? Do you remember when Trump was like, I will pay, it was something like $1 million.
It was a big, hefty sum, and no one
for the birth certificate.
And no one cashed in on it.
And it's like, dude, these fucking people are just propped up. They're put in position, and we're not allowed to fucking ask questions or be like, you know. And the funny thing is they work for us. Yeah. At least that's how it's supposed to work. But we can't even ask questions about them.
If we really wanted to change something, fucking talk to Elon Musk. Let's get X involved with this. If you want to fucking vote, say we want term limits for government.
Yeah.
Put it out on there. Yes or no?
Yep. Yes or no.
Submit the question. We the people vote for this. This is how it's going to happen. I know it goes around the Electoral College and everything else as far as that's concerned, but if we're going to play the popular game, something's got to fucking give.
Bro, I don't think that's I'm pretty sure that both sides of the fence would agree on term limits. There's no.
But we have to do it, though.
For sure. Yeah.
These people
they're not going to do it because
no.
They can get into office and they can sit there comfortably for 50 fucking years.
And then hand over their power of attorney to their fucking daughter and still be in Congress, rotting a fucking way.
And never really have to work, never have to create, never have to build, never have to be entrepreneurs or join the workforce or anything.
Thanks, Bernie.
Yeah, these people have just figured out a way to milk the system, and then they just get to ride that out for a lifetime.
Because we let them.
Bro, fucking our president has been in politics for over 50 years. Like, dude, that was never what this country was intended, or how this country was intended to operate. And then all the ones that ever did have any kind of job, there's a bunch of fucking lawyers, you know? They don't understand how to build, how to create, how to fucking make jobs, how to run a business, how to be fiscally responsible.
Or maybe have just forgotten how to.
Yeah.
And just got lost in the sauce. I mean, that's
why we need Andy Frisella, man.
And that's the thing. I mean, what's so wrong about actually having real, genuine experts actually guide us. Why the fuck can't we have flying cars by now? Everyone's sitting there like, oh, well, teenagers are too busy eating fucking Tide Pods. Well, maybe that's because we're letting certain people have too much fucking say in the matter.
I forgot about the Tide Pods, bro.
Well, but that's just the fucking start of it. I mean, you sit here and you keep going down the rabbit hole, and it's like there are some very obvious things that are happening here at the behest of certain people to do a certain thing, whether it's self-gain, which probably is because they're politicians, but we need to really start hammering on people waking the fuck up and actually having a voice to this. J6 and everything else, like those guys getting rolled up and everything 2 years after the fact because they just happen to fucking be there.
Yeah.
Is some fucking next level Stasi shit.
When there was no violence.
Yeah.
When there was no property damage.
There was no firearms.
Yeah, bro. Like, and then you and I alone could go on YouTube and pull hours of footage of BLM and Antifa.
Yeah. Burning shit,
hurting people, causing fucking massive amounts of property damage. And
but again, this is
not one arrest.
One particular group of people, and it's not even a political thing.
Yeah.
Just there's people that just want chaos or have this weird, disingenuous feel of power and want to just project it over people, and it's wrong. I mean, daughter, father to a 7-year-old daughter. This is not the fucking world I want to leave my daughter.
No, man. And I talk about that very often. Like, we are duty bound to be in this fight if you're a fucking parent. And, when my shit went viral a few years ago, people were like, what are you doing? You got kids. Bro, you got to be careful what you say. Like, you got kids. And it's like, is that the message you want to tell your kids? Yeah. Is that when we feel when we feel people are trying to fucking control us or not allow us to speak our truth, that if we get paid enough money, that we'll just take a knee and shut up? Yeah. Like, that's the opposite of the message we need to be teaching our children. Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's been generational.
Yeah.
My grandpa passed the responsibility down to my dad. My dad passed it down to me. It's got to fucking stop. This is all like cancer at this point. There's just this particular mindset of people that just think that we can have the world operate this way, and it's not fucking working.
Bro, it's like the globalist agenda has been a slow, they've been slowly cooking us since really probably World War fucking II. Probably. Or before that. Some people believe it's a several century plan, which at this point, I don't rule out anything, man.
No, we just got told about UFOs. Yes, anything is fucking possible.
Yeah.
Any way that you spin it. If it sounds fucked up and wrong, it's probably right.
But the most ironic thing about these people that are implementing all these rules and trying to control us, they're the most cowardly, incapable of us all.
Yeah. Inslee and fucking Sideshow signed in 1240 and 5078 and a slew of bunch of other shit.
And they
hold no responsibility whatsoever.
Yep. And they're just fucking weak pussies of men
that depend on state patrol.
Yeah, they don't have any courage. They've never fucking tested their fucking fortitude. They're just weak, cowardly men that tell fucking savage warrior men what to fucking do. And again, how long are we just going to let this happen? Like J6, I say this all the time. You watch the videos of J6, no one was being violent. No one was attacking anyone. And there were still men like hiding under fucking chairs and shit, dude. Like, if there was ever a video of me, I remember fucking like getting attacked in Iraq, dude. And people would be like running and screaming and shit. And I remember thinking like, dude, if I get blown up today, I get blown up today. But I'm not going to die screaming like a coward. Yeah. If a fucking bullet or a fucking mortar fucking finds me today, then it finds me today. But at least have some fucking dignity that you are a fucking warrior and you are a fucking man before that moment comes.
Well, and my thought train behind this is that they're hammering so hard on those that they can get out of this deal because the people that were in that building that day showed their face, they showed their true face, they showed their hand.
Yeah.
They ran, they hid, they were scared.
Cowards.
And that was just with people without guns.
Yeah, bro. And I've said on the show a million times, you want to see an insurrection? Like a 30-man element that has went through infantry AIT. They could be 19-year-old privates with literally fucking 16 weeks of training, understand how to set up an ambush, how to set up counter ambushes, how to control points of ingress, points of egress, like have some type of security element. Like there's basic things that take place when you're taking down a structure. Mm-hmm. Dude, none of it was implemented because those people weren't taking down a structure. No. You know, you could put together a plan with 30 fucking dudes that would make J6 look like what it really was, just a fucking tour of the Capitol. And I think they know that. I think they felt fucking vulnerable, and it scared them. Yeah. And it scared them because they're cowards. And so what's the right answer? Every single person who was there, we ruined their fucking life. So if anyone ever thinks...
And wasn't there a couple of locals that got hemmed up and all that? They were from Leavenworth or Lake Stevens or something.
I know.
I forget the lady's name, but she's supposed to be a Washingtonian here, somewhere local.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And she got rolled up on this.
Jesus, man. And fuck the feds, dude. You know, like until you start standing with the people, fuck you. Yeah, and I'm probably on your little list, and I don't give a fuck.
All my friends are on lists.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time, you know why I'm comfortable saying go fuck yourself to all these people? Because come and get me. And I have been comfortable dying for my beliefs since I was fucking 20 years old. I spent a decade of my life fighting these bullshit wars for people's freedom, you know? And I can look back on it now and I can admit we had no business in Iraq. Like everything that we've been told since I was a fucking child fighting these fucking wars is bullshit. Do I regret it? No. This is the path I took. It's the life I lived. I'm not going to sit here and fucking cry about it because there's nothing that can be done now. But my eyes are open. And now...
And you're here for a reason.
And guess what, dude? You guys, through all your fucking bullshit that you put me through, you bred fear out of me. When I was in Ramadi getting ambushed every single day, I didn't have time for fear. Because fear doesn't help you operate when you're confronted with a fucking violent situation, a violent encounter that's right in front of you. So here we are, fucking 20 years later. I'm not afraid of you. The worst you can do is kill me. Fuck you. And the thing is, if everybody would just say that, like these people literally hold no real power.
Nope.
They hold no real power. They hold the perception of power. And bro, I haven't been a proponent of fucking hurting anybody or being violent, but until we fucking figure out a way to make these people stop trampling on our fucking liberties and our freedoms, the conversation needs to be on the fucking table. And like, I mean, Thomas Jefferson said it, like every fucking, the tree of liberty needs to be fucking watered like every generation, you know? Yep. And when people fear their government, there's tyranny. And when the government fears their people, there's liberty. Yep. Well, we need liberty, but these people don't fear us.
Nope.
Fuck you, dude.
And they're doing a fine job of gaining more people on their side for all of this.
I know. I mean, what's the percentage of people that are government employees now? It's something astronomical, dude.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, the numbers and the amount of budget and payroll and everything else that we shell out, we should take a severe look at and reassess this because shit's not working.
Bro, I'm telling you, when Andy fucking runs for president in 2028, he is going to be, well, on one hand, he's going to be public enemy number one.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, he could be the guy to fucking turn this all around, you know? And he's a numbers guy. He knows what it's like to run businesses on a budget. And he's like, dude, a flat 10% tax could run our whole country. As long as the money that we're fucking taxing our citizens is used for the things the citizens need. He also said, like, with his 10% fucking flat tax, teachers could get paid $200,000 a year. Yeah. He wants to make the profession of teaching highly competitive.
As it should be.
Yeah, where it brings the best people that are seeking a fucking viable, lucrative career.
Well, and that's the same thing I was boiling back to on all of this other stuff with the gun laws and whatnot. There are no experts that did anything revolving around the crafting of this bill. Mm-hmm. I mean, cool, they had Brady gun rights or whatever the fuck those people are called. they just, it's just frustrating for me. Sorry. But the
Get
way
frustrated, bro. We're here to vent.
well, the way that everything was crafted and written was so haphazard and broken and solves nothing. It's bullshit. It's unconstitutional bullshit. And that's where everything, it doesn't matter what's in this bullshit law that was fucking passed by people that depend on the very things that they're trying to take away from us.
Yeah.
And even if I butcher every bit of whatever these, laws are, the fact that they're even there and we should not even be paying attention to them and ignoring them actively and openly should be a thing. And we need more people to fucking come to grips with that really quick.
And the thing is, like, people that hear this and think like, oh, he's just a crazy gun guy.
I'm a libertarian, by the way.
Today it's guns. Tomorrow it'll be something that affects your livelihood. And the next day it's going to be something that's going to affect that guy's livelihood. Like, they're not fucking stopping.
No.
Going after guns.
This is the cancer.
Yeah, going after guns is part of their plan, because once they have a hold on the guns, then they're going to come after everybody for everything. And that means you, motherfucker.
Yep. And running to Idaho or Montana to fucking take your family to is only going to fucking stop you from having to do anything to try and save anything,
Well, bro, here's the thing. You run to Idaho because I want to be able to have a 10 or a 30 round magazine again. The problem is going to follow you sooner or later. That's not a viable solution.
And it already has.
The cancer's growing, and running to another state, it's going to fucking follow you.
Yeah.
And the weirdest thing about these motherfuckers that flee California and Washington and move to places like Montana, Idaho, and Texas,
the taxes are better.
They're bringing their fucking liberal ideology with them. And it's like, hey, dum-dum, there's a reason you fucking left. It's like these people's fucking brains don't work, dude.
Well, it's because they're still wearing their mask and their Prius by themselves with the windows up.
And if you come into you can hear practice is starting out there right now, right? Kids class. I don't even know.
Are you guys getting ready?
No, I don't have to. What time is it?
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock? Okay, so kids class is starting right now. I don't teach kids class on Tuesdays and Thursdays because it's little kids. And little kids are like hurting fucking cats, dude.
I need to get my daughter involved so fucking bad.
Bro, two of my daughters train all the time. And it's fascinating to watch how fast they fucking grow into savages, dude.
Well, so total opposite spectrum, but same learning curve. So got my daughter into horseback riding, Western style. Great place, horses and everything. We got a great relationship. She's just starting, but even the owner was just like, had she ridden before? No. She's doing really good. She's got her balance and everything. She's got it figured out. She's steering and everything by herself. This is after her third fucking session.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Fucking 7-year-old sponge. Fucking crazy. Gotta watch everything you say around him now. Fuck.
But that's also the beauty in it, man. Putting them in positions where they have to conduct or they have to do things that are fucking difficult and kind of dangerous and kind of like, dude, I'm riding a fucking 1,000-pound beast, dude. You know what I mean?
Something that bucks right, kicks right,
so
or anything.
You better respect what's going on right now and listen to the protocols, implement the lessons that you're being taught. All that shit's very congruent with the martial arts approach too.
Or firearms.
And or firearms. It's like kids thrive. If you let them, they'll thrive in that environment. But if they never are pushed out of their comfort zone to learn about things like this, then they turn into those fucking 25-year-old like BLM soy faggots. Like, bro, and you know what's interesting is like all of the people that are like promoting like the Black Lives Matter and shit, most of them were fucking like early 20 white females.
Or the fucking high haircut, mid-40s, 50s, like almost grandma.
Yeah, dude.
Like, what the fuck? You don't have a pony in this fight. What the fuck?
And dude,
I mean, I'm all for rights on everything, going across the spectrum. Everyone deserves a fucking right to live. Everyone deserves a right to liberty. Everyone deserves a right to happiness. Everyone deserves a right to go on down the list. It's not a race thing. It's not a fucking anything thing. And the fact that these people are blatantly placing money in hands that are being misappropriated and, I always just got caught spending, $19 million on mansions and shit like that after the tax breaks and everything else. And there's no arrest, there's no one's getting in trouble.
No accountability.
We're fucking still feeding this machine.
And bro, why aren't people fucking like have the humility to be like, hey, these radical organizations that at the time I thought were being propped up to fight against racism, I kind of realized like, oh, I got duped.
Yeah.
They pulled the wool over my eyes.
The fucking tax records, they're all
Hey,
public knowledge.
My bad. You know, but nope, nobody can do that anymore. No. Like just admit when you're wrong, especially, again, going back to politicians. No politician has any type of humility. And dude, it's leadership 101. Like when you're in a leadership position and you fuck something up, I do it all the time in the jiu-jitsu academy. And that's not even an important leadership position. It is it might be for my team, but like if I make a mistake or I say something that was out of line or just whatever, I'll always just sit the team down and be like, hey guys, yesterday this came up and I said this, and it just so happened that like, that was actually incorrect. This is what happened, you know? And what that does is it gives people buy-in on you. As soon as they realize like, oh, you'll admit to your mistakes, you'll own up to your wrongdoings, like it kind of sets you free. Mm-hmm. I think if a politician would actually do that, he'd get more buy-in with the people, not less. But for whatever reason, they just never ever want to admit that they were wrong. Yep. And welcome to being a fucking human. Like we're all gonna fuck up from time to time.
Yeah. Business owner, I fuck up constantly.
Yeah, dude.
It comes with the territory. It's just, you know, you got to deal with it. You got to put your strong foot forward and your big boy pants on and just fucking deal with it, you know? And it's, yeah, that has been some severe life lessons to be learned with all of that. You know, did 8 years of Coast Guard, maritime enforcement, petty officer and everything. Yep. I was a weapons guy. That's how I got started with the shop and everything, wanting to take all that stuff across and take accountability for how people were getting trained.
Yeah.
Because there is plenty of YouTube bullshit. Everyone's following the fucking LARPer videos and guys that have absolutely no
clue bro.
What they're preaching out there.
And you know what's interesting about that is the 2A community
eats their own
more than anyone.
Yeah.
Like we posted something at Guns and Geese last week and we have people on Instagram.
How many correction comments did you get?
Yeah, dude. And guys that are just outright, I don't know if they're lying on purpose or if maybe they're ill-informed, but they're like, those cadre guys shoot IPSC at the local club and they always come in dead last. They're D-level shooters at best. And it's like, we're not competition shooters. We don't sell our course as competition shooters.
I was going to say, where did that?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. What are you talking about? And we don't sell our course as something that's going to make you a better IPSC shooter. Yeah. Our course is the fundamentals of combat gunfighting. And my homie, Greg Lappin, that runs the range portion of it, has had a tremendous amount of real world experience killing people both overseas and as a New Orleans cop, because it was fucking dicey down there for a long time.
The guys I served with were Camden, New Jersey cops before they folded. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And it's like, why would you ever get on a platform and try and tear somebody down like Greg Lappin, who, if you know him, if you watch him shoot, if you attend any of his blocks of instructions, you realize he's a phenomenal firearms instructor. Yeah. But for whatever reason, and Mike Glover is a good friend of mine too, and anytime he does something, people will be like, oh, he fucking
just go and crucify him.
I remember he got there's a video of him that some other training company was posting where he was doing a demo and he got a click instead of a bang.
I do remember hearing that story.
Well, if you spend enough time on the range,
shit happens.
Shit happens. And if you're telling me you've never got a click instead of a bang, you're a liar, right? And what did he do? He tapped and racked and continued the drill. So like, for people to make these big deals out of something just because someone has gained some notoriety, I mean, obviously Fieldcraft is doing well. Yeah. And
I saw they're just opening up a new facility.
Dude, I'm flying down there next weekend to run a jiu-jitsu seminar at the new facility, because they're opening a training center that's geared towards grappling and fitness in Provo.
Should talk to Mike. Maybe he wants to buy the building. Already got it fucking set up.
Dude, I'll talk to him, man. I'll talk to him. That might be something that he might be interested in.
I'd rather see it go to something useful.
But, I mean, regardless, the whole reason this came up is like, dude, if you watch another firearms instructor or someone do something that like might not be how you would have done it, it doesn't mean we need to just fucking tear each other down. Like, dude, most of us are probably on the same team. We have a similar thought process. And at the end of the day, like, we don't need more division. We need fucking less.
Well, and it's the same thing I keep telling everyone. All I did in service as far as firearms was concerned was basics. That was it. Because that was all, we were primarily reserve unit. So it was having to do the quarterlies and everyone else, and everyone's, not necessarily firearms proficient all the way through. So it's a lot of relearning the basics and going over that. I'm not a tactician, never kicked doors, never did shipwriter, anything else like that. Totally not my forte. But as the facility owner, I have a classroom. In that classroom, I can hire guys, I can bring in those people. And the one thing that I always tell people as far as firearms is concerned is to not get settled on one instructor.
Yeah.
Every single person's got a different click, a different tick, a different way to be able to break shit down and be able to feed it to you in a way that you can actually process. So as long as you do your homework and find the guys that aren't smoke sellers,
yeah,
and actually have real world experience, fucking take the course. If you get something out of it, one thing, then they did their job.
100%, bro.
It's
we say it all the time, like, especially in jiu-jitsu. Like, if you attend a seminar and there's one little move or even a grip adjustment or something that just you can tell is going to make your overall game improve, that 3 hours is worth it.
Yeah.
You know?
The time expenditure has to be there, but you have to put the time in.
And you got people, we say all the time that our curriculum, if you're a new shooter, you're going to be drinking from a fire hose. If you're a highly experienced shooter, maybe you're only taking that 1 or 2%.
Yeah.
But if you take that 1 or 2, we see it consistently. The top level shooters that take that 1 or 2% home with them, they're usually the happiest because they've already built a very high level skill set. They put in a lot of time. And when they can get that little tiny, like, oh, fuck, dude. And Lappin has a lot of those little tips and tricks, which makes it very cool because it's easy to train the new guys. And a lot of times the majority of our clientele are newer shooters. But he's so proficient at the higher level shit too that he can give the high level guys little tips and tricks too. And it makes it work for everybody. Yeah. And you can't have that. Got to have someone talking shit on you about it.
That's another thing with coming to be a business owner is you taking the bad with the good and everything else. The one bad Yelp review and all that little knick-knacky bullshit and everything that comes with expansion and growth of the business.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. I had a friend tell me the other day that was like, just remember, the bigger you get, the more hate you're going to get to. And that just comes with the territory.
And especially with the thought and theory of what all is potentially coming down the road for, us being the firearm shop, maybe going back to the house isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's in the bigger picture and everything else, being the bigger head, in the board to get nailed is not necessarily a good thing in this state. So
yeah, I hear you, bro. Well, we're right at about 2 hours, probably about time to wrap this up. For people that are already familiar with you guys and are clients of yours, the transition back to the old facility, or basically your garage again, is it still going to be all the same points of contact, same emails, same everything?
Yep. Instagram still the same, Pacific Armament Company or Pac Armcom. Phone number is still the same, back to the cell phone. Emails and everything else. It's just me answering everything. So it's one of those deals where we're just trying to stay on top of everything and be a dad at the same time. So
I hear you, bro.
We'll be patient with us.
Well, I'll put, if you're comfortable with it, I'll put a link to your Instagram in the show notes below. Yeah. Is that probably the best way for if anyone hears anything or if anyone listens to this and wants to reach out with anything, that's probably the best place to direct them?
Instagram is still probably the best place to hit it for right now, just so that I have a name and a face and I'll get back to you as soon as humanly possible. So it's just, there's a fucking ton of moving parts right now. I've never spun a shop down before. So getting 3-letter agencies and everyone else involved with the paperwork and everything is fun.
Well, fuck, bro, let me know if you just literally need bodies. To move shit. I got a fucking 100 teammates that are strong young men that would be more than happy to fucking.
Awesome.
I mean, that's just fucking taking care of our community, and we're more than happy to help. I know that it's like that's not much, but at the same time,
every little bit helps.
Every little bit helps.
So we got where we were at.
Any closing words, man? Closing words are always putting people on the spot. So
I know. just fucking follow your dreams. Don't ever fucking stop. Don't ever give up. Don't ever let anyone tell you can't do something. It's the biggest thing that I've ever taken out of any of this. And this is one of the biggest reasons why we're fighting and doing what we're doing. So
yeah,
we're getting more involved and just, if you're going to do anything, wake the fuck up.
For sure, man. And I have no doubts, you know, like just because you're downsizing, I know you have a big fight ahead of you and you're taking it to these people. And I have no doubt you'll come out on top one of these days. And that's going to be a fucking good day.
Fuck yeah.
You know? All right, bro. Well, thank you for coming out, and we'll stay in touch, and it'll be interesting to follow your journey, and just let me know how everything's going, man.
I'll see you down at the shop.